Heidi Ho YouTube Major Chord coming at you today with, I guess you could say, a redemption video, because I posted, almost 2 years ago now, an unboxing video on the Kershaw Crown. And it, surprisingly, is actually one of my most viewed videos, and now that the situation with that crown has been remedied, I don't feel entirely right having just that video, which is almost entirely negative, being the only video giving my impressions of this knife. So, I guess today I'm just going to sit down and talk about it. I'm not going to say it's a full review, because, quite frankly, that's really not what I do here. I don't pretend to give professional gear reviews. Mostly what I do is sit and throw opinions at you, so take it for what it is. But if you remember back to that original unboxing video, which I may or may not link in the description or annotate or, work my YouTube magic with, the first Kershaw Crown that I got was a lemon. It was gritty to open. It was full of blade play, both up and down, side to side, and it was just horrible. So, I made my initial unboxing video, and then I promptly sent it back to Amazon to get a replacement, and this is that exact knife. And I've been nothing but satisfied with that knife, or this knife, that is. I have continued to use it in the role that I set out when I originally purchased it, and that was as, like, a dress knife. And I will add one caveat to that, and that is that currently when I am dressed up, most of the time when I'm dressed up in, slacks and a shirt and tie, it's usually when I'm teaching in a school and I can't have a knife anyway, so that kind of excludes the whole purpose for getting this knife. But usually when I'm dressed up otherwise, like in a tuxedo or if I have a wedding or something to go to, I'll generally just carry a slip joint, like a case knife or even just a Swiss Army knife. So this knife does not see a whole lot of use, but over the past, year and a half, 2 years that I've owned it, I've intentionally carried it on other occasions just so that I would be able to use it. And from that use, I can say that I'm satisfied with it. It's not one of my favorite knives, and it's not one of my least favorite. But it is a solid knife, and for the price especially, I certainly would not recommend against anyone buying it. I don't even know if Kershaw still produces it at this point, but I know it at one point was widely available at Walmart, and it's one of their lower priced mass market knives. So, that being said, for what it is, it's a good knife. You're not going to be expecting a ton from this. But let's, just hop right in. When you buy this, what are you expecting? I personally expected to have a nice knife that I could wear while dressed up. And, just looking at it, quite honestly, it accomplishes that. It's a sexy-looking knife. You got your polished, I believe this is G10. It could possibly be micarta. I'm not entirely sure. So, either or, it's still a very nice handle scale material. Plus your stainless steel bolsters. This doesn't scream tactical. It's not a knife that you can really flick open. I mean, I suppose you could, but generally you're just going to want to open this with a nice, slow, smooth action. You don't have a ton of options for clip placement. In fact, you're stuck tip down right-hand side, or tip up right-hand side carry, excuse me. So, you're limited in that regard, but it works, Your clip is designed to follow the flow of the knife, so everything blends in nicely. Clip tension is okay. Everything here just works, and it looks nice. It's a classy knife. Your thumb studs also don't stick out too much. Kind of bulbous in design. But again, they work. Nothing on this knife, I'd say, works exceptionally well, but they work. So, your opening is not terribly smooth, but once it's oiled up, it's good. Now, the original knife that I had was full of blade play. Up, down, side, side. Like, this thing, you could shake it and it would just rattle like crazy. This one, like, there's a teeny bit of movement that you could feel, but there's really nothing audible, and I have it tightened to just where I want it, and it stays. So, this is a solid blade. The result is that it's slightly tight, but it's good and smooth. And again, for a dress knife, that's just what I want. I'm not going to be whipping this out. I'm not going to be, you know, needing it right away for self-defense or anything like that. This is just a good, like I said, solid knife for the task I purchased it for. And that, again, speaks to its construction material, which is HCR 13 MOV. I'm assuming the bolsters are some sort of lower-end stainless steel. But, you know, fit and finish is decent for the sub-$20 price point. You're not getting Sebenza-like quality, but what you get is good. You know, there's not a ton of gaps anywhere. Everything's kind of rounded off decently and polished fine. Your liner lock has a teeny bit of jimping, which makes it easy to close. You can get to it from the cutout in the handle here, which also lets you access the thumb stud. And the thumb studs are ambidextrous. Although on this side it is harder to get to just because there's really no opening in the bolster. Of course, the fact that this comes in at under $20 means it's going to be a Chinese-produced knife. But something tells me that if you are the type to purchase this knife, you don't care about that fact. So, take it or leave it. You do have a lanyard hole here. But I'm not the type to really throw lanyards on my knife anyway, and especially like a quote-unquote dress knife, it's not getting a lanyard. It's definitely not getting a lanyard. But this knife, for me at least, is one of those knives that it still kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth just because of my initial impressions. But being objective, I quite literally can't say it's a bad knife. There have been some QC issues with other users, I know for a fact. You're just reading the forums and watching other reviews, but this sample that I have is fine. I've used it, I've carried it some. I have nothing bad to say about this particular knife. The Crown line in general, it's kind of a crapshoot. But again, for the price you pay, which if you buy it at Walmart, if you can find it, is about $10 usually. Online between $12 and $15, sometimes a teeny bit more. This is a good knife. Whether you use it as sort of a dress knife, just because, honestly, I don't think it's going to scare anybody, you know. You have a very classy, traditional-looking handle with a roundabout 3-inch blade. Or if you choose to use it just as an everyday carry knife. I mean, for $10, this could easily be a beater knife that you just kind of toss out after it's been used up. Either way, it's a good, solid knife that is out there and is easily accessible to a ton of people. And despite the issues in quality control that this line seems to have, I can't not recommend it, if that makes sense. I'm not going to say everyone needs to own one of these, but at the same time, this knife has redeemed itself in my eyes from my initial impressions. So it's not one that I'm getting rid of at any time soon, but it's certainly not one of my favorite knives. You know, it's no Buck Vantage, no Spyderco Endura in my eyes, but, you know, I don't have any extreme loathing for it. But thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and take care.